It is not true that wild hogs are native to Wisconsin. Over the course of several centuries, they were brought to the United States, where they eventually interbred with domestic pigs and flourished as a result of this collaboration. They were able to thrive and expand their area into the northern United States as a result of environmental factors such as global warming and shorter winters. There is a forest next to the farm where we go hunting these animals on a weekly basis. I never imagined that I would one day become a boar hunter for a living. The reason for this is that wild boars have assaulted my farm over the course of the past 2 years, causing substantial damage that has cost me thousands of dollars. As a result, I made the decision to purchase a firearm, not for the purpose of amusement, but rather to safeguard my own territory. As soon as I saw the first wild boar, my heart began to race. My purpose was quite firm. Immediately following the firing of a gun, the largest wild boar fell to the ground. Those who were left fled. Wisconsin is a state that provides the perfect environment for wild pigs to hide in because of its rugged terrain and dense foliage for cover. Those of you who are farmers and live in a location where wild hogs are exhibiting signs of an invasion, you should not wait until your entire crop is destroyed before taking action. Now is the time to act. The wild boars were going from one bush to another, and we were able to observe them from a distance. As soon as the wild boar came to a stop, we had the feeling that this was our opportunity to kill it. The trigger was pulled without any hesitation on my part. In a very short amount of time, we came across a wild boar. It may have been aware of potential danger, which is why it halted to listen. In addition, it was completely oblivious to the fact that this would be its final call. It is necessary for us to acknowledge that wild boars are quite intelligent and sensitive during this hunting excursion. They have the ability to detect impending danger and they can flee. It is therefore necessary for all of us to exercise patience and wait for the time to deal with wild boars. When it runs, the wild boar is fairly quick. In order to eliminate it, we have to seize the opportunity. A relatively vast region is designated for hunting. We move around quite a bit in order to locate a location that has the greatest number of wild boars. I was given some advice on how to shoot wild boars by Hanner, a guy who is of Belgian and American descent. According to him, they typically go along the trails on a daily basis in order to feed. An ambush of wild boars is possible there. Yes, we were exactly on track when we noticed a number of wild boars fleeing in the opposite direction. As we were making our way to gather the goodies, we came across a massive wild boar. Because of its enormous size and weight, we initially mistook it for a black bear when we were a distance away. Wow, we were totally ecstatic when we finally managed to kill the enormous wild boar. In the late afternoon, we put up some bait traps in the woodland edge region surrounding the property, and we used food to entice the wild boars to come in. We would wait for them in the vicinity. A herd of wild boars came to feed because they were attracted to the food that was available. We are going to shoot the pigs that are the largest. I was able to take down the wild boar with the most weight by shooting alongside my friend. There is a monster here. With just one shot, we were able to take down a wild boar that was unaware of our presence. It had begun to become dark. We made the decision to hunt yet another pig. To our good fortune, a herd of wild boars materialized. They were so preoccupied with finding food that they failed to recognize our presence. One of the pigs was taken down by the lack of vigilance that was displayed. Wow! Let's get going. Let's get going. A late day was when the hunt came to an end. After gathering the wild boars, we proceeded to the station to take them. Due to the fact that there are an excessive number of wild boars in this region, we will continue to hunt in this area for the next few days. Let's get going. The province of Muğla, which is situated in the southwestern region of Turkey, is well known for its breathtaking beaches and rugged mountainous terrain. An increasing and difficult to manage problem, the rise of the wild boar population, hides underlying this beauty, yet it is extremely difficult to regulate. A total of more than 300 hectares of crops were lost in the course of just the previous year, as reported by the local authorities, leaving hundreds of farmers in a state of severe despair. However, the situation is made much more dire by the fact that pork is not generally consumed in Turkey. Hence, the population of these animals has been spiraling out of control. As a result of this predicament, other hunting clubs, including our own, have taken action in the goal of putting a stop to this continuously growing threat. Then, let's not squander any more time. All right, let's get started. We took up our positions as soon as we arrived in the western mountains of Datka, which are known to be one of the most frequented areas for wild boar in the region. We did not have to wait very long. In a matter of minutes, we came across a boar that was running at a rapid pace. We gave pursuit and opened fire without any hesitation, and as a result, we were able to bring home our first trophy of the day. To our astonishment, there was more than one of them. Many more were located in the vicinity. The air was immediately filled with the sound of dogs barking and the piercing squealing of boars, which caused the atmosphere to become tense and electric. We continued to launch wave after wave of attacks, and we were successful in eliminating several of them right then and there. The thing that was most surprising to me was their size. They had a large, muscular, and thick body that resembled monsters who were hiding in the jungle. Following our departure from the forest, we relocated to a lower slope that offered a more unobstructed view, making it ideal for locating targets. A large boar caught my attention from that vantage point. There was a large and powerful alpha boar that was attempting to escape. I controlled my breathing, positioned myself for the ideal shot, and then fired a single bullet into the target. After that, the entire group moved their attention to the other boars in the area, with the expectation of bringing down a few more of them. I established a covert ambush by following a path through the underbrush and setting up a trap. After then, a wild boar suddenly emerged from the woods, seemingly out of nowhere. Without giving it any thought, I picked up my gun that was on fire and fired a shot that was both clean and experienced, which ended in an instant. During the process of searching the area for more targets, a full herd suddenly materialized, standing on end as if they were aware of potential danger. They dispersed in a disorganized manner throughout the undergrowth. I finally caught sight of one of them as it darted across my range of view after I had been following them for some time. I took advantage of the situation, pulled the gun, and successfully delivered a critical strike. With continued efforts, we were able to eliminate a few more of them. What truly took us by surprise was the sheer number of them that were still floating around in the world. An isolated pig, separated from the rest of the herd in the confusion of the chase, suddenly made a desperate attempt to flee. It appeared out of nowhere, dashing along the rugged slope of the mountain, its hooves sending small rocks tumbling down the incline. The animal moved with astonishing speed and determination, driven by pure survival instinct, and for a split second it seemed as though it might escape. However, I remained calm and focused, my senses sharpened by the intensity of the moment. I managed to detect the boar at the perfect instant, just as it was trying to disappear behind a cluster of rocks. Without hesitation, I took careful aim and executed a shot that was nothing short of flawless. The boar stumbled, then fell motionless, the echo of the gunfire fading into the vastness of the mountain. Encouraged by our success, we pressed on, moving cautiously yet purposefully deeper into the wilderness. As we advanced further along the trail, we began to notice an increasing number of paths and markers, subtle signs of the presence of more wild boars in the area. There were fresh tracks in the soft earth, scattered tufts of coarse hair caught on low branches, and disturbed patches of soil where the animals had foraged for food. These clues fueled our determination, convincing us that we were drawing closer to our quarry. Following these signs, we eventually arrived at a dense, almost impenetrable thicket. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and crushed leaves, and the tangled vegetation formed a natural fortress that would have offered excellent cover for any animal seeking refuge. We paused for a moment, listening intently for any sound that might betray the presence of our target. The forest was silent, except for the faint rustling of leaves in the breeze, but we knew something was hidden there. I tightened my grip on my weapon, my heart beating steadily as I prepared for what was to come. Finally, through a narrow gap between the branches, I was able to pinpoint the objective, a large boar partially concealed by the undergrowth, its dark form barely visible in the shadows. I took a deep breath to steady myself, raised my weapon, and pointed it directly at a crucial spot where I knew the shot would be most effective. Time seemed to slow as I focused all my attention on that single point. The instant the shot rang out, the boar collapsed to the ground, felled by the well-placed bullet. A sense of relief and accomplishment washed over me, but I knew our task was not yet complete. As we began making our way back along the rugged path, our pace relaxed, but our senses still alert. We were taken aback by an unexpected encounter. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught movement, a few more wild boars, stragglers from the herd, darting between the trees. These boars were swift, nimble, and on high alert, clearly aware of the danger that surrounded them. They moved with incredible speed, weaving through the forest in an effort to evade us. Yet I knew that this was another opportunity not to be wasted. Without missing a beat, I raised my weapon once more, my mind clear and my aim true. Shots rang out, echoing through the woods, as I seized the chance and did not let it slip away. I kept a low profile and waited for an opportunity to approach them. A few well-placed shots later, another one went down, bringing an interesting day to a close with a satisfying conclusion. Wild boars are capable of reproducing throughout the entire year, and each litter can produce anything from 6 to 12 piglets. Because they lack the ability to exercise adequate control, they will continue to destroy crops and endanger people's livelihoods. It is possible that we were successful in eliminating a significant number of them today. Yet, in the big scheme of things, this is merely a little chapter in a much longer fight against these intelligent and lethal beasts.